Okay, so we will be having Cisco router password configuration, in which we'll be having what are the purpose of those three different passwords that are being set in the Cisco router password. Now we'll proceed with the Cisco packet tracer for our simulation. We'll be having a certain router to configure it. Then of course we'll be needing a unit to configure the router directly. Since it's a new one, we cannot merely configure it by other interfaces of the router. We should have a direct connection using the console port on the router using the RS232 of the PC going to its console port. So that is the initial configuration is been done for a new and unconfigured router. Now from connecting it, we go with the PC0 in order to see the actual booting of the router. We go with the desktop and then terminal, in which this connection via our RS232 will be connecting to the router and displaying its iOS, or the Internet Operating System of the router. As you can see, this is the operating system of the Cisco router, and as you can see, this is the starting message if an unconfigured router is not yet being set. So you just have to press no, and return is the enter key, in which you already goes with the user mode. So there are different modes on the router level. You have the user mode, privilege mode, and the global configuration mode. So we'll be going deeper and deeper with those modes. So start with, we can have the command enable, or we can simply put two letters for it, enable, and then from here we go on the privilege mode. So from user mode, which is greater than sign, which end of the prompt, for privilege mode, number sign is being the end of the prompt. Now from privilege mode, we can now go with the global configuration mode, which is using configure terminal or config T. Okay? So for config T, indicating that you're already in the global configuration mode. Now we can have some basic command for the router, like putting a host name or renaming the router itself. Let's say host name followed my name, Dante, will become the name of the router, so instead of having a router. Now going to our main topic. So how do we set the password, and what are those purpose? Let's say the first thing that you can enable or put the password is the secret password by invoking command enable secret, and let's say I will put Cisco secret. Okay, so that would be my secret password. So it's being already set. The purpose of the password now, if we try to use it, if you go with exit, you will be going back to the previous level that you have came from. So exit, I will be going back to privilege mode. Another exit, you go with the user mode. Okay. Now if you go with the privilege mode using again the enable, you will be now asked for the password. So we already set the secret or enable secret password a while ago, which is name as Cisco secret. So that is the password that we have to enter in order to go with privilege mode. So that's the purpose of the first password that we have set. Now we can also set another password. So going back again to global configuration mode, config terminal, and now we'll be configuring it with the console password. So right now I am directly connected via the console of the router. So I'll be setting another password for it, going with that particular line console, which is cons name as 0. There are only one console part of the router. And again, we have to put a password for it. Let's say cons password or console pass. Okay. Then we have to put also login in order to enable for logging in using the console password. Okay. So it's all been set. So we already set two passwords for it. One enable password and another for console password. So if we try to exit what we have came from, exit, exit, another step, go back, another exit, go back. So when we press return, before now we can move with the user mode, we have to put now the console password. So there are now two levels of security in which I have first to put the console password. I have mistaken to put it. I just retype. Okay. So when you have put the right console password, that's the time that you will go with the user mode. Now if you go again with the privilege mode, you will now have to ask again for the password, in which we have put a while ago is Cisco secret. So in order for you to go with the privilege mode, the last password that we can set is for the line BTY or the virtual type. So if we happen to configure the router out of the console port, we'll be using the interfaces of the other interface of the router, like the gigabit one. They will be asked for this password. Okay, so let's configure the third password for line BTY. Again, I have to go back with the global configuration terminal, and I will be going with line, so virtual type, so BTY. 0 to 4 means 5 concurrent connection, so we can have several connection with the line console. And I have also to put the password for it. Let's say line pass is my password, and we have login again command for allowing the port to be configured in that line. So enter. So all set. So I can also press Ctrl Z to go back with the previous level on the privilege mode. Okay. Now to test for the line password or the line BTY, so we'll be putting a unit, another computer for instance, connected by a straight cable from our fast Ethernet going to the gigabit one. Okay, so we'll be trying how we can configure it, the router, by using a PC connected by the gigabit, not on the console port like this PC0. Okay, now it's red, so we have to configure the gigabit 00 of the router to put an IP address. So again, with the router configuration, I have to go again to config terminal, going with the interface of the gigabit Ethernet name or numbered 00. Okay, there we go. I have now config if. It means that I am under the interface gigabit, and I will put the command again at IP address, specifying this IP address that I need. Let's say 200.1.1.1, and my subnet mask, let's say 255.255.0. Okay, and I have to set it no shut in order to enable the port or the interface. As you can see, it's red. After I will enter the no shut, it will turn to green. So it's go signal. It means my line protocol is up. Okay. So the first interface now is already up. Okay. Now, so there's no problem anymore with my gigabit interface, but on my PC, I have also to set the IP address for it in order to communicate with the router gigabit 00 interface. I will not put also IP address for this one. Going to desktop, IP address 200.1.1.2, which get along with the router's IP address, which is 1. So they just increment for one number. So although it's already been set, IP address for the two connections, so we can now try to ping using the command prompt of the PC, and let's try to ping the IP address of the router, which is 200.1.1. So there you go. It replies on my ping for testing connection. So that's why we can now use the telnet or the virtual type command, or even you can also use putty for it by putting telnet followed by the IP address that you want to connect with, which is this is the IP of the router. Okay, then just press enter, and you will notice it asks for the password immediately. What password that we have to put here? So remember, we have three passwords: the enable password, the console password, and the BTY password. So we'll have to put here the line password. Okay, so that's the point of using the line BTY. So different from the console password. So you will not use the console password for going to user mode on a BTY connection. Okay, but for enable, you will be using the same secret password that we have put before, is Cisco secret. So right now, I can now configure each either way using my BTY or virtual type password connection, or the PC0 connected via my console password. So it's all being set. Okay, so that's all for password configuration. Thank you.